So these are the ingredients for the filling, and you might have slightly different ones in the box this week, but these are just the bits and bobs I had at home. So we have got carrots, celery, potatoes, parsnip, leek. This is a little bit of goat's cheese. You probably have cheddar in yours. This is some fresh thyme just from my garden, and some olive oil. With the herbs, you can use dried herbs if you don't have fresh. So this is what we like to call our mise en place, which means everything in its place. And as you can see, I've chopped the leeks, celery, parsnip, carrot, and then this is the potato, which I'm going to chop now. But I just wanted to show you the easiest way of preparing the sort of vegetables is into these sort of small slices like this, and then you can matchstick those and get the kids to just cube it up, especially for the younger ones. That's the best way of getting them ready to experiment with chopping and get them comfortable with it. So break it down to its smallest piece so that it's easier, and then obviously as they get older they can do a little bit more, but yeah, for the younger ones, just really sort of simplify it. So everything's ready to go into the saucepan now. So I'm just going to put in a good slug of olive oil into the saucepan, turn it onto a medium heat, and then just slowly sweat down, first of all, just the leeks, the carrot and the celery, and then later on I'll add the potato and the parsnip. So you can hear that lovely sizzle. So we're just going to sweat that down like we do with most of our dishes, especially if you want to reference the tomato sauce video. This is what we want to do with this as well. So we'll just cook it down until it's nice and sort of soft. We don't want any colour on this though, so do drop the temperature down to a sort of lowish after it's had a bit of a sizzle, and then just add a sprinkle of some salt and just leave it be. So I've just added the potatoes and the parsnip and the thyme, and I'm just going to let that cook down again until it's nice and soft. And then we'll leave that to cool, and that will be our filling for our pasties. The pastries had 30 minutes in the fridge, so it's nice and cold and slightly firmer to the touch. And that's just going to make the job of rolling out that little bit easier. So I've divided the dough into 6 equal pieces. So I'm just going to show you how to roll out the pastry, and the most important thing is to start with a nice clean work surface, and then just a light dusting of flour. You don't want too much, because otherwise it will just get stuck to the pastry, especially if you have to redo it. You don't want too much flour on there, and that will dry out the pastry. The other thing that we like to do at Square Food is just to do a sort of rough circle of what sort of shape that you think you would like your pasty to be, and then pop your piece of dough in the middle of it. So to start with, get your piece of pastry and then just roughly sort of shape it into a circle. Again, just being quite quick because we don't want to heat it up too much. I always say that if you start with a circle, it's much sort of more likely that you'll end up with one. But these are homemade pasties, so they do not have to be perfect. So pop it in the middle of the circle and then just spread it in the flour a little bit. With your rolling pin, we're going to just do a very light touch. We're not sort of pressing too heavily on it. We don't want to squash it. So just a light pressure, back and forth, and then we're just going to turn it again. And then back and forth and back and forth, and turn it, back and forth. And then you'll eventually get a good old size on your pastry and thickness. And if it ever starts to stick, just roll the rolling pin in a little bit of flour, and then just flip over the pastry and just start again. So keep spinning it. If you keep spinning it, it's less likely to stick to the surface. You don't want to roll it out to the right thickness and then find you can't get it off. So keep moving it around. So once you've got it to the sort of thickness you want, so we're looking for about 50 pence sort of piece thickness, and as you can see, that is by no means a perfect circle, but that is okay. I'm going to show you what to do next. So with our pastry like this, what we're going to do is just brush off any of the extra flour. Again, you don't want that sort of to disrupt anything. And then this is the filling from earlier, so it's really nicely cooked down. You can see if you press some of the potato, it holds its shape, but it's just got a little bit of, it sort of just breaks up slightly. So it is cooked. It's obviously going to cook a little bit more in the oven, so don't worry if it's got it slightly crunchy. But the most important thing is that it had a nice amount of time to cook down and it's nice and sweet. And then the other things that we're going to put in today are some frozen peas. We'll just do a sprinkle of that, and then whatever cheese you've got. So this is goat's cheese, but you can put cheddar cheese or brie or whatever you've got in your fridge in there as well. So, grabbing a spoon, it is human nature to want to overdo and overfill things. So this is the hardest part really, is kind of gauging how much you might need. So I'm just going to start off with a nice amount of the filling in this, so just off centre of the pastry circle, and I'd say that is about right in terms of quantities. And then what I'm going to do is just sprinkle on a few of the peas and some of the cheese, just let's say 3 or 4 blocks of that, and then I'm just going to fold it over. So just a little bit of a closer up sort of look at the filling. You can see there's a nice amount of pastry either side of it, so it's just off centre, and I'm just going to take the top of the pasty and then just fold that over the filling, and then you can see these little bits popping out, so just tuck those back in and then just press around the filling roughly like that to get sort of semicircle shape. And as you can see, it doesn't look too pretty at this stage, but I'm going to show you how to make it look prettier. So we've got our semicircle of pastry there, and as you can see it's got a nice sort of rim around it, so I'm just going to press around it sort of nice and firmly just to seal the edges, and you want to be quite sort of delicate at this stage. And then just with an ordinary table knife you can just cut the excess off and then add it to another pasty or another bit of pastry. And then so you're just left with this shape here, which is a sort of traditional Cornish pasty shape. And it'd be good for you to actually look into the history behind a Cornish pasty and why it's called Cornish pasty. So do have a look if you can. There are 2 ways of making it look pretty. So the easiest way is just using a sort of fork and then just pressing around the edge of the pasty with the fork to give it a nice sort of crimping, like so. And then all we're going to do with this is just pop it onto a baking tray. We're going to brush it with a little bit of egg wash or some milk, and then we're going to bake that in a nice preheated 180-degree oven until it's really sort of golden brown and the pastry is nice and crisp and flaky. And then we're going to serve that with a sort of simple salad with some carrot ribbons, some sunflower seeds and some sort of shredded baby gem lettuce. I do hope you enjoy them because they are so delicious and perfect for lunch, perfect for packed lunches and picnics in the summer as well, when we can eventually get out and enjoy sitting down for a picnic. To egg wash the pasties, you could either use a pastry brush like this or just beat the egg with a fork, and you can sort of just dab it on with your fingers or a bit of kitchen roll if you're funny about getting it on your hands. But these pastry brushes just make it easier. Or if you've got any old paint brushes lying around from kids that don't have paint on, you can use those too. And the kids love sort of painting the pasties as well. So give it a good mix up and then just simply paint it all over the pasty like this, and that's going to give it a really lovely golden finish. Whilst you're waiting for the pasties to cook in the oven, you can pop together a nice little really simple salad. So I think you're going to get some baby jam. I've just got some, I can't remember which one this is, oak leaf. So I'm just going to shred this nice and thin like this. This is called a sort of chiffonade cut where you get these sort of nice sort of thin bits of lettuce, and then just pop that in the bowl. And then with that, we're going to just put some ribbons of carrot. So you just want to peel the carrot first. Nice and simply. Get rid of those bits. And then just take the carrot and then just do nice ribbons of the carrot. So you can see you can get them kind of quite big like that. And then I've just got some sunflower seeds toasting behind me. So in a dry frying pan or saucepan, just put sort of a handful of some sunflower seeds just to sort of toast them off, and they just have a really lovely flavour to them. So there's probably enough carrots, you can give the rest to the guinea pigs or the rabbits or the kids to eat. Just mix that through, and I can just hear the sunflower seeds starting to sort of pop. So they've got a nice bit of colour on them now, like that, and they smell delicious. They're a really good snack actually, sunflower seeds, if you toast them. So then just pop those on the top, and they can go on sort of hops. And then we're going to just do a pinch of salt, a squeeze of some lemon. Just squeeze that through your fingers to catch any pips. Squeeze that over. And then just finally, just a light drizzle of olive oil just over the top. And that is a really simple but sort of nice crunchy salad to go on the side with your pasty. So really great for lunch. I've had 25 minutes in the oven in the end, and they're nice and golden brown and nice and flaky. So they've got sort of nice crispy tops and hopefully on the bottom as well.